Welcome. I'm Sebastian Mahfood, and you're listening to WCAT Radio, the on-air wing of En Route Books and Media, bringing you the dulcet sounds of Catholic wisdom.
Welcome to Living the Gospel of Life. I'm your host, Leticia Velasquez, and today I have with me Katie Peter, a freshman at Norwich Free Academy in Norwich, Connecticut, and Lili Smith, an 8th grader who is homeschooled right now. Both of these girls are in my parish, and they both enjoy baking and singing. They both have been involved in a few Marches for Life and have also prayed with 40 Days for Life. Welcome, girls. It's so great. It's so great to see you here. Yeah. I am going to start with a prayer, which we're doing this in my pregnancy center, so I forgot my copy of the Evangelium Vitae. So I found the prayer. So you just pray silently with me, okay? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. O Mary, bright dawn of the new world, Mother of the living, to you do we entrust the cause of life. Look down, O Mother, upon those vast numbers of babies not allowed to be born, of the poor whose lives are made difficult, of men and women who are victims of brutal violence, of the elderly and the sick killed by indifference or as misguided mercy. Grant that all who believe in your Son may proclaim the gospel of life with honesty and love to the people of our time. Obtain for them the grace to accept that gospel as a gift ever new, the joy of celebrating it with gratitude throughout their lives, and the courage to bear witness to it resolutely, in order to build together with all people of goodwill the civilization of truth and love to the praise and glory of God, the creator and lover of life. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So the reason I have this young panel of pro-life young women is I wanted to share their reactions to the movie Unplanned. We all went to see it Thursday, today's Saturday, so we're still kind of reacting to it, right? What kind of impression was your first impression on the movie, girls?
Well, 5 minutes into it, I was already crying because it's so sad.
Kind of at the end, and the end was kind of like emotional with seeing the baby fight for its life.
Right. The movie starts with a scene of the abortion that changed everything, and then a lot of the movie goes into what do you call it, flashback.
Yeah. So I guess it really opened my eyes to see how really bad abortion is. Like I already know it, but when I see kind of the inside look of what it actually is to be a person working in Planned Parenthood.
What they see.
Yeah,
to see what they see. And I've been in pro-life all my life for about 40 years, more than 40 years, and I never actually saw that before.
Yeah.
I saw it on the silent screen. That is a very early movie, I believe from the late 70s, where Dr. Bernard Nathanson shows you a sonogram of a baby during abortion.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't think it was a real abortion, but boy, it sure looked like one.
Yeah.
And you have all the emotions. And you have the emotions of Abby in the story, which is a true story, seeing what she had done twice. She had already had abortions, and what she organized. She was responsible for 22,000 abortions. So it all kind of hit her. So that really affected you then.
Yeah. And especially her being so young and having already 2 abortions, too.
Right. She was in college, at least for the first one. Yeah, that's a very common age. College and the early 20s, mid-20s are the most common ages. And why do you think women have abortions in those ages?
Well,
they're not ready.
Yeah.
They think they're not ready.
They think they're not ready. Well, they're not planning on being a mom, right?
I don't feel like they have any hope either, which isn't true.
They think they don't.
Yeah, and also it's just like they're ashamed. A lot of the times they're just ashamed.
Because they may have been doing things that is against their faith.
Yeah.
And when you're pregnant, it's kind of hard to say that you weren't anymore. Guy gets away with it. Woman has the evidence that she's been sinning. And so actually, Abby was almost married for the second abortion.
Yeah.
But she was divorcing a man that was unfaithful and abusive and I believe a drug addict or something.
Yeah.
So she wanted to cut ties with him. And she couldn't imagine having this baby tying her to the man. So anyway, it was the first few moments of the movie, you hold your breath. It's very impactful.
Yeah.
And it just rivets you to the screen.
When they're showing the ultrasound, they put like the camera on Abby and then they switch it back to the ultrasound. The whole time I'm just thinking, don't switch it back to the ultrasound. I don't want to see it.
It's horrifying. And why is it horrifying?
Because It's showing an abortion.
You hear so many people say it, the baby doesn't feel anything, and then when you see it, like, and it's so hard too because it's like so innocent, like it didn't even have a chance to do anything wrong, and you're already hurting it, like.
And how do you know a baby's hurting? I think it's a 12-week baby, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's moving away from the pain.
Yeah, I was trying to move
the
away.
baby, that's what got her. She said the baby's trying to get away.
If it doesn't feel it, it's
Why would it be trying to get away?
Yeah.
Why would it be trying to escape, right? The baby knew somehow, as simple as the baby's brain is, it's functioning enough to know this is danger, get away.
Yeah.
And obviously the baby couldn't. Why? Why couldn't the baby get away?
It was getting sucked.
And Abby was holding the ultrasound probe. So the doctor wasn't in there blind. He could see where the baby was, if the baby was getting in there. And they don't really know that the baby has been aborted till they go back to the POC.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell what the POC is?
Pieces of children.
Oh, right.
It actually means products of conception. That's what they call it. But the snide name for it is pieces of children. And actually, that's more accurate.
Yeah, pieces of children sounds a lot worse than
product of conception. Because product of conception is a child, but it helps you to sort of distance yourself.
Yeah, they use a lot of like big words to kind of hide the real thing, like make it sound more professional than murder, you know?
Well, they call abortion health care.
Yeah.
And what's health care by killing a baby? Nothing.
Yeah.
And
it hurts the woman too. She was.
That was also in the movie. Talk about that. What happened to that girl? And she was about high school.
I know. That scared me.
I thought she was gonna die. I mean, she could have died.
She had a perforated uterus. He made a hole in her uterus and must have hit an artery. So she was bleeding. And what was the scariest part of that? Maybe because she was your age?
Yeah, and I guess that one, but it was just her face was all like white, and she was just losing so much blood.
Yeah. She could have very well died. Yeah. Did her father know what condition she was in?
No, they lied to him, which is also another thing that, like.
And who lied to him? Who had to do it?
Abby.
Yeah. Abby was in charge, and she knew the father and knew the girl. Maybe from church, maybe from the neighborhood. So she was destroying her relationship with the father because from then on, if he found out, he would never trust her again. But that young woman never knew that her uterus was perforated. Yeah. That could affect future pregnancies. Maybe she would be sterile. We know people who have had abortions in our church that can no longer conceive children and have repented, and God has forgiven them, but that doesn't undo the damage that was done in the abortion. So that young girl, not only did she lose a lot of blood, and they didn't give her blood. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They didn't have it. They weren't ready for it.
They didn't tell her. Yeah. She lost a ton of blood. That affects a lot. That affects a lot. It's important.
Right. Yeah, we're going to give her plasma, which would like plump up her veins, but it's not blood. It's not the red blood cells. It's not what you need. It's not true medical care. Yeah. And they could have gotten true medical care. How? How would they have had to gotten medical care for that girl?
Well, bring an actual doctor in, but if you bring an ambulance in.
Well, they had an actual doctor, but he was hampered by the fact that they didn't have blood, and they probably should have sutured her uterus and given an operation and sewn it up, but they didn't. And all they wanted to do was stop the blood and get her out.
Yeah.
Get her out, get her back to her father, and be done with her. And that's the scary part. What kind of medical care does that?
They don't care what happens afterwards.
No follow-up, no seeing if she's bleeding again. If she wouldn't know why she was bleeding. They said, what did they say to Abby about her?
Yeah, well, they said it was only going to be like a heavy period, the blood that she was getting.
Well, yeah, that was Abby did the abortion home. Yeah. What did they say about the teenage girl? She won't remember anything. Yeah. Because when you have an abortion, some people have anesthesia and some don't. It costs like $300 and some don't have the money. So the ones that have the anesthesia, they have the advantage that they don't remember much. So that young girl was out of it for most of it. She may have even passed out. But they weren't going to tell her what happened. I guess she could get her medical records, but she'd have to fight to get it. And she didn't really have any reason to know that she needed it. So you saw them clean her up, and she walked out weak. But one would expect to be weaker from abortion. So that poor father, his daughter almost died, and he was worried, but he had no idea. They just lied to her. What did they tell the father about why the girl took 3 hours?
Because he said that something went wrong. Person didn't tell the doctors they had an allergy to something.
Which was the total lie.
Yeah.
Total
Never
lie.
happened.
her boss was very scary in my opinion. And especially in the end when they were going to increase abortions just for the money.
Abby was not in Planned Parenthood for the money. I mean, she liked the money. But why did she join up when she joined up?
Because she thought it would help women.
Yeah, she thought it was healthcare. She thought she was helping women.
And she wanted to reduce the number of abortions.
Yeah, that's
How? How did she think she was going to reduce it?
Wasn't it by more plans?
Birth
Like
control.
birth control. Yeah.
She thought if you give women birth control, then they're going to be fine, and they're not going to get pregnant. And that's
why when she went to the meeting, the big time meeting, she learned really what she was doing was abortions.
Yeah.
She didn't even.
We are an abortion provider. That's what her boss said. We are an abortion provider. We're not there to help women, but that's basically what we say. She compared it to McDonald's and hamburger sales. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, what does McDonald's make its money on, she said?
The French fries and like the soda.
Because they're cheap to make. The hamburgers, they just break even because hamburgers are expensive. But the fries and the sodas are cheap, and you make a lot of money on them. So for Planned Parenthood, they just break even on the other services they do. They only do 1% of all breast exams and 2% of all pap smears. I think I have it backwards, but whatever. It's an extremely low percentage. People say, well, Planned Parenthood does other services. Yeah, 1% of the women's services that are done in the whole country. And yet they do, I believe it's about a third of the abortions that are done in the country, about 250,000 a year. So abortion really is their bread and butter. Abortion is what makes the money. That's what the head of her boss, Abby Johnson's boss, told her. Abortion is what makes us money. We're all about abortion. We're not about reducing abortion. If that was propaganda, I'll tell you where that came from. Bill Clinton ran for election as a pro-abort. He was the first openly pro-abort president in 1992. And he said, I want to make abortions safe, legal, and rare. Sounds good, right? Oh, nobody wants abortions, but, if you need them, we'll be there. So that was what he said, but when he went into office, abortions were at an all-time high of almost 2 million a day. Not 2 million a year, I'm sorry.
I was going to say
100 a day, I'm sorry. Not 2 million a day, but it was an all-time high, and it has gone down, to the lowest point since 1973. So abortions have gone way down for many different reasons. I think movies like this are part of it. If you were pro-abortion when you saw this movie, how do you think you feel?
I feel like I would definitely go to pro-life.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not right away because you have to think of people's will if they're not willing to change.
But I would definitely consider
especially if they've had an abortion, right? Because if they realize that what they did was wrong, then they have to they have to feel guilty.
And if you notice, all the workers who worked at the Planned Parenthood, they were all recently girls that came in to get abortions, and then they were in the movie.
Yeah.
They were in the movie. I mean, they're the same actor.
Abby had 2 abortions herself. And you kind of want to believe that what you did was for the good and that you're going to help other women. Because after all, it solves all your problems. And it really didn't, but you've convinced yourself. Because if it solves all your problems, why are you still hurting inside?
Yeah.
That's what the conscience that God puts inside us to tell us something's not right. He doesn't let us rest. And it's a good thing. And a lot of people are afraid of seeing this movie because they're afraid their consciences will hurt. Sometimes that's the first step to healing. Sometimes God and the Holy Spirit need to convict you so you realize you need to have repentance. We had a young lady in a pregnancy center with 12 abortions. She wasn't even 30 yet. And she was going for 13, and we helped her to have her child. And she went to confession. And she confessed it. It was the first time in her life. She had baptism, but that's it. So went to confession, and the priest, she didn't even have to pray the Hail Mary, so the priest said, just look at the statue of Our Lady and give yourself to Mary and ask her to be your mother. And she could sleep at night after that. She was able to sleep, and she was able to rest and to have a good conscience. And then her life turned around. But it takes the pain of admitting you made a mistake. And people don't want to do it. They'd rather just keep covering it up because they're used to that.
You feel better after you've let everything out sometimes.
You do. After confession, don't you feel like 10 pounds lighter? Right? So you have that fresh, clean way about you. You feel great, And we have that advantage that we were raised to know that. Other people don't. So it's very important to know that people who watch this movie, that the people in Planned Parenthood are not shown as devils. What was the young ladies that were working there? What do you think about them?
I thought they seemed really nice.
Yeah, they
like,
seemed nice.
Seem like good people. I'm sure they had good intentions. It's just like, it's not like love the sin, hate the sin type of thing. Like, and a lot of times they don't know it. Like, I was thinking about the guy when he kind of compared abortion to like the Holocaust and like the big like you don't think it's bad, but like I can totally see it in maybe like a decade. People are gonna look back and they're gonna be like, what were we thinking? Like those type of people that like were Hitler, they're gonna be what were we thinking? You know? So.
Well, I guess they thought it could never be that bad. Right?
Yeah.
Because if it really were that bad, people would say something. But that's what everybody thinks, that somebody else is going to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to stop the recording for just one. All right, great. So anyway, I thought we had to stop. And anyway, so we're talking about the girls that are there. So the abortion workers are shown pretty realistically. They're not all evil.
Yeah.
And the pro-lifers outside aren't all saints.
Yeah.
Okay, some of them make some mistakes. The people that pray outside the abortion clinic. And this is a true story. So I've seen this happen. What is one of the mistakes that Abby talks about?
For the people
that pray outside, the pro-lifers. They make some mistakes too.
Yeah, they're kind of like riots. like you don't want to give people you don't want to give people bad impressions. Like you're not even doing your job. If you're like kind usually people get more inspired through that.
What were they doing that was kind of creepy?
Well, like saying, you're a sinner, you're a murderer.
You're never going to be anything but a baby killer. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Our Lord doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Right? Our Lord sees what we can be if we repent. And once we repent, it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy who said that was holding the Bible, and he was like, you're nothing but a baby killer. And that's not what you want. It's not what you want to hear.
Yeah. No, because it destroys hope.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm never going to be anything but a baby killer, I might as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference. And not you're a beloved child of God, and God has better things for you to do than this. You're not saying that what she's doing is right, but you're not saying that she's hopeless and she's bad. Because a lot of people that have abortions, women, think that they're beyond the grace of God, and they despair. And that is absolutely wrong. God is bigger than that. God will forgive you. He forgave the very people who are killing him. Certainly he can forgive a woman that in a moment of fear and being deserted. Many women, about 48%, feel that they have no choice, that they're forced into abortion.
Yeah.
They want to have a place to live. Their boyfriend, husband, lover will leave them. Their mother will leave them. They'll pull them out of school. I mean, their life will fall apart. And people they love won't love them anymore. And that's very scary, especially when you're very emotional, when you're newly pregnant, your emotions are on a roller coaster. You're nauseous. You don't feel like yourself. So that's all you need is to find out your life's going to fall apart. So it's a very scary time. And the people that do that to the women that are facing abortion are also guilty. You can't just say, well, just because you didn't get the abortion. If you desert people, like Father Stephen Imperato, his girlfriend had an abortion when he was a single man. I said to her, well, do whatever you think is right. And he said, that's abandoning her. Because what I should have said is, I will be there for you. I will support you. I will take care of this baby. Instead, he said, oh, go ahead. Do whatever you think is right. What's that kind of saying to the woman?
She doesn't know it's right, so she needs to help.
She needs guidance, and she needs support.
Yeah.
She needs to know, I'm there for you. Yeah. And he wasn't. And then he found out years later that she had aborted 2 of his children, that they were twins. And for the rest of his life, he has been working to stop abortion. So sometimes, like Abby, like Father Imperato, like Dr. Bernard Nathanson, you can turn around and be a force for life, a force for good. So was those people shouting and screaming and yelling names at the people going in for abortion did not change anybody's heart. And one man even had a sickle. Did you see that? It was like a knife on a stick.
Oh, really?
That's the symbol of the Grim Reaper. He's the symbol of death.
Oh.
You see it in like old pictures and stuff. You see the guy with the skull face and the black cape, and he has that. Like he's the Grim Reaper. He comes to cut you loose from life and take you into the netherworld. It's like I think from the Victorian days, it's a symbol of death. And that is not gonna. As Mary said, if I needed help with my pregnancy, that guy's the last guy I would go to.
Yeah.
Because imagine how he's going to react. He's not going to be compassionate. He's going to judge you. And unfortunately, that's what people think that those of us who run pregnancy centers do, that we try and guilt a woman into not having an abortion. What we try to do is show her her baby and let her make an informed choice.
Yeah.
And let her know that abortion has consequences, like we saw with that young girl.
Yeah.
We saw it ourselves in Hartford. We saw a young girl being taken out on a stretcher with a sheet over her head. She didn't want us to see her. But the 911 call said she was bleeding heavily. And they were right. 911 calls are recorded. So if somebody's taken out of an abortion clinic, that's why they don't want to call an ambulance unless they're desperate. So if somebody's coming out of an abortion clinic, you can be pretty sure that they're in danger of death.
Yeah,
and
they only do it in their very worst.
That's right. And they told them to wait until we finish the abortion in that case. Wait. So that lady was bleeding heavily, or they wouldn't call, but we want to make sure the baby's dead. Because heaven forbid, she gets the emergency room, they stop the baby, and the baby survives.
Yeah.
They didn't want that to happen. So they made her wait while bleeding till the baby was killed, and then the ambulance came to the front door, and they said, no, go into the back. So all this time, she's bleeding. And the most important thing for them is saving their reputation and not getting sued.
Yes.
And then she gets to the hospital. We don't even know if she lives because we are not able to see those records. All we know is that they told them to go around back and they took their time getting her because to them, their reputation is more important. And you saw in this movie, they wouldn't even let the girl go to the hospital. And Abby was begging for this young woman whom she knew to go to the hospital, and they said, absolutely not. Yeah. And the woman barred the door. The clinic director barred the door. So that woman was in danger of death, and it didn't matter. So to say they're pro-women is total nonsense.
Yeah.
It's about what? It's about money. It's about money. And I must say that people who work at Planned Parenthood are paid better than your typical clinic workers of a normal health clinic. They're better than this nursing home back here. There's a reason that they pay them well because it's very tough what they do. Let's go back to the products of conception room. Tell us what that is. You remember what that is? It's kind of gruesome.
So it's like assembling all the baby parts to make sure none was left in the woman.
That's right. What would happen if, let's say, the leg or the arm or the internal organs were left in the woman?
We'd have to take her back and get it out.
Yes, and if they didn't, she could die of an infection.
Yeah.
We had a young woman who had a baby part left in her after an abortion in Hartford, and she was in the hospital for 2 months with an infection, a very serious infection that threatened her life. She was able to conceive again, and she came to us and she was pregnant because she didn't want to go back there. Abortion thing, she didn't trust them. I wish that she had sued them because they deserve it.
Yeah.
That's malpractice.
Yeah.
That is
it's for her life on the line.
Right. And they deserve to have their reputation destroyed if they're hurting women. So that's 2 women in 2 years that almost killed by that place. And that's just what I saw. So it's important for women going into abortions to know the risks. Anytime you have surgery, you should be very aware of what risk you're taking. And you should never have surgery unless the risks outweigh, the benefits outweigh the risks. Or you should also have the ability to go to another doctor and say, well, what do you think? And in abortion clinics, that doesn't happen. They don't show them the baby, so they don't know how developed the baby is. Do you remember what they said about the baby?
Yeah, they don't show you their ultrasounds.
So you don't know there's a heartbeat?
Yeah.
You don't know the baby's moving, and the baby can suck their thumb or kick.
If they show you the woman who's getting an abortion, their ultrasound, she's going to see that it's not just a clump of cells. She's going to see that it has a base, it has an arm, it has everything.
And a heartbeat from, I think, day 15. So that's basically when you miss your period. You conceive in the middle of your cycle. It takes 2 weeks till your cycle's due. You don't get it in most cases. Some women do, but 90% of the time you don't get it. And then you're like, uh-oh, I'm late. And then you're not even thinking you're pregnant right away, unless you're pretty sure that you could be. So it takes a couple of weeks for it to sink in that you might be pregnant. I know I've been pregnant 6 times, and you take the test. By that time, the baby is a month old, 4 weeks old, and the heartbeat has definitely started. Yes. So there is a bill now that just passed in Georgia to ban abortions from the moment there's a heartbeat. So it's basically all abortions. And Hollywood is flipping out. A lot of actresses and actors, unfortunately some that I like, are saying they'll never go to Georgia. They've actually been doing a lot of films in Georgia recently, and they're not going to do it anymore because, you can't have an abortion in Georgia, and isn't that terrible?
That's awful.
Yeah, I know. But the good thing is, I believe it's Ashley Bratcher, who is the actress from Unplanned. She wrote a letter rebutting Alyssa Milano, the actress, letter saying how bad Georgia was because it doesn't have abortions. saying, talking about her role in Unplanned, and that she almost was aborted herself. She found out after, I believe, she started acting in Unplanned, that her mother had thought about aborting her, and that she was saved from abortion.
Yeah, I could have been aborted too, but I was adopted instead.
You were adopted instead, that's right. So I don't know if you know about the circumstances of your mother, but it was in another country, and she was in trouble somehow. Mm-hmm. Somehow she was afraid to have a baby for whatever reason. She thought that you would be better off, and you live in a wonderful family in the United States. You have great friends, great church. Your mother's taking the time to homeschool you, which gives you a great advantage. I homeschool my kids, and one of them is graduating Steubenville in a month. So that's the second one graduating from a good school. And they have their faith. Mm-hmm. They love God. They have their priorities straight. They haven't messed up their lives, drinking and stupidity, and so they live a good life. But anyway, so what a blessing adoption has been in your life for your mom and for you and your brother, and what a great gift your mother gave you, your birth mother and your adopted mother. And, I would like to convince a lot of the moms that come into the pregnancy center to adopt, but do you know what their reaction is?
What?
I could never do that. I could never do that to
I
my
definitely
kid.
want to adopt a kid when I'm
Okay, now here's a girl who has been adopted who wants to adopt. What makes you want to adopt?
Well, I love kids, but also there's so many kids out there who are up for adoption, and I don't know if they're going to get a good home or something. I don't know.
Well, the babies, there's actually a waiting list for little tiny babies in this country. What's a little bit harder is the foster kids. Yeah. They are, many of them, waiting for adoption because they've had a lot of trouble in their lives. Yeah. And if you saw Instant Family, I don't know, but it's a funny movie.
Yes, I want it to see
It's a funny movie about Mark Wahlberg adopting his no kids and his wife, and they got 3 siblings from a very troubled situation. It's been foster care. So they're a handful. Yeah. But in the end, it all works out well. But they're a handful because they don't trust.
Yeah, I know a girl. I met a girl. She got adopted when she was like 8 years old, and this other girl didn't even know she was adopted. She found out in some files in her parents' basement. Her parents never told her.
Oh, that's kind of shocking.
Like other people, like her mom was a drug addict, and then her mom wanted her back, and then she's like, So
maybe her mother was afraid. Sometimes adopted mothers are scared that their daughter or son won't love them if they knew there's a birth mother. If you see these movies on TV, it's all dramatic. Maybe they're afraid that the mother will get them back. In Instant Family, the mother gets them back for a short time and then can't deal with the family because she is struggling with addiction. It's the hardest thing in the world to have to give up your kids, but it's much better than killing your kid. Yeah. For some reason, our culture has convinced themselves that having an abortion is more merciful than adoption.
It's like killing your child and forgetting it. They think it's better than...
They think they can forget it, but they really don't. Yeah. Do you know that every cell of every child I ever conceived is still in my... Not every cell, but some cells. From the children I conceived, whether or not I had 3 miscarriages, those baby cells are still in my body.
Yeah, I saw something that said that.
Yeah, they're still in my body, and they're always in my heart. Yeah. So our babies are so intimately connected with us, we can't just pretend they didn't exist. Yeah. But we don't believe in reincarnation, so we're not giving them life. Yeah. That's that's another thing that sometimes they think that they get to go to be with someone else. That's something from the movies. It doesn't exist. That's some dog's purpose. It's very nice in the movies, but it's not true. God gives us one life. The baby, of course, is innocent, so we don't have to worry about the baby's soul, but we do worry about the mother's soul because it's a very serious sin to have an abortion. But again, God understands how much pressure women are under, and the people that put her under pressure, and then healthcare workers that do the abortion, they're also guilty. Speaking of health workers, did you know that the doctor in the movie is Dr. Anthony Levitina?
Yeah, I saw that he was an actual abortion doctor before, but now he's pro-life, and
isn't that give you chills?
That's like that's so cool. Yeah.
So he knew exactly what to do. Yeah. No one had to tell him what to do as an abortion doctor, because it was fake, but that. What impressed you about the doctor who did the abortions in that movie? What was your thought? Like, how did you feel about him?
He's scary.
He's scary. What is he?
Yeah. He was just very, like, yelling. I think he was very just trying to do his job without. He seemed like he wouldn't let his emotions get in the way of anything.
Right. He's trying to hide his emotions. It must be very emotionally wrenching to do that all day long. We saw an abortion doctor when we were next to the abortion clinic in Hartford. almost every day, every Saturday, come out with his scrubs on and big tall guy, and his shoulders were slumped and his face was on his chest, and he was looking at the ground, and he looked terribly depressed. So we would say, good morning, how are you? We were trying to be friendly. We were trying to start a conversation with him, and because he looked depressed. And of course, after what he did all day long, and there was another abortion doctor, a woman, who resigned when we started there because they cut her hours because we cut into their business so much. What did they say about when people pray outside? Do you remember that at the very end?
It does more. Yeah.
75% of the appointments are canceled or no shows.
Mm-hmm.
75%.
That is amazing.
All people are doing is praying. They're not even talking to anyone. They're just praying. So the power of prayer is amazing. And that's why it wasn't in Hartford. One time I counted 27 priests and nuns. I mean, who can walk past that, right? So on that power of prayer there. Yeah, there are foreign priests and nuns from Asia, from Africa, from all over the world to go to our seminary, Holy Apostles. And they have a ministry to pray. That has been their ministry for 15 years, to pray for an abortion clinic. And they started St. George. So, that's a very powerful force. So anyway, this doctor quit. She retired, she said, but she was starting to talk to one of the sidewalk counselors, just like Abby, about what she had done.
Mm-hmm.
She's an Episcopalian. Sometimes Episcopalians say it's okay to abort. So it wasn't against her particular faith, but she in her heart knew that something was wrong.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful that she could be on the way to conversion. And again, she talked to that woman because she was quiet and prayerful and kind.
Yeah.
This poor old lady has diabetes, and she wouldn't drink before she went out because she had to go to the bathroom and there was no place to go at the time. So she'd be thirsty. She'd probably be hungry. She'd be sacrificing just to be there to show love for the people going in, for the abortion workers, and of course for the baby. So it was just beautiful that love eventually led to the doctor reaching out to her. Just like Abby reached out to the people out there. Why did she talk to the blonde girl, Mary Lise, I think her name was? Why did she talk to her through the iron bars? It looked like a prison or a graveyard.
I think she let off like kind of a positive energy probably and I think both of them kind of wanted to inspire each other, you know, like I'm sure Abby wanted her to get why she was doing it. Because she seemed like so innocent, and the girl seemed so sweet. It's like, I'm sure she was kind of annoyed, like why she couldn't understand why she was doing what she did. It made her feel guilty.
Interesting. That's a very interesting perspective. Why can't you see I'm just trying to help women? And they probably feel that way. The people that work in Planned Parenthood. Why does people out there at all weather praying, don't they understand women need abortion? Why would women be without abortion? That's what they think because it's been 43 years. So people get really used to something in 43 years. Like if someone took our computers away, we need them. Well, did we need them 43 years ago? No, we didn't. But now we do because we've learned to get used to it. And there's advantages to computers, of course. We're using one right now, but there's disadvantages. Like some people can't get away from their phones. And they don't talk to their family and whatnot. So it gets, there's good and bad to everything. But anyway, so the lady, Mary Lise, the blonde lady who was talking to Abby through the gate, was very kind to her. Do you remember some of the things she said to her? Your talk is pretty. Congratulations on your new position. Now, she didn't like what she was doing, but she was acknowledging that Abby had accomplished something. And how about when Abby had a baby shower? She had a baby shower in Planned Parenthood after the boss left. And she came out with what?
Balloons.
Balloons in a big bag that said, baby. Very unusual considering where she worked. Right?
Coming out of an abortion center with balloons that say baby.
And Mary Lise was also pregnant, and I think they had their babies around the same time. So they were sharing that. So she congratulated her on her pregnancy. Again, she said, well, how come you're not going to abort this one? Because that wouldn't have gotten her anywhere. In fact, what happened to Abby when her boss found out she was pregnant? She saw her with the test in the bathroom. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So, like, we can help you with that.
We can help you with that. What is a callous way to say that? And do you think if your boss asked you that question, and especially when you work in an abortion clinic, she's not just offering something, she's kind of
nudging it.
Nudging you,
she's kind of saying more like, you're going to abort that baby.
Yeah, and she didn't, but I think it put off her becoming clinic director, if I remember correctly. It put her career back. And that's one of the reasons that Planned Parenthood says you need abortion, because you can't be successful. Recently, there was a young black woman who graduated from Harvard Law School, and she had a baby in her arms, like a 2-year-old little toddler. And she said, I did it for him. Yeah. Now, was it easy to go to law school with a baby? I'm sure it wasn't. But was it impossible? No. It is not impossible.
People nowadays are all about empowering women.
That's
and
right.
Abortion is telling the woman that she can't do her life without.
That's right. You're no good without abortion. You can't do this. You don't have the willpower. You don't have the stamina. You don't have the drive to do it. You're just going to fall apart in a heap, and we're going to bail you out. For the mere price of $600, we're going to save your life. And yeah, you're right. It's making them like a victim. It's making them feel weak and really stupid for not taking that choice. And that's why some women out there have this campaign with Planned Parenthood or NARAL, shout your abortion. Have you heard that? Some Hollywood stars are saying, I never would have gotten my career if it weren't for my abortion. Yeah. And you know what? In some cases, maybe it is true. Yeah. But at the end of their lives, I've heard a lot of actresses who are very successful say, you know what I really wish I had done? Had kids. Or more kids. Or had more of a family. They never say, I wish I got more roles. Yeah. And these are women who give their whole lives to acting or whatever, celebrity, singing, whatever. They always long for family. And we can have family and do whatever we're doing. Look at me, I'm a radio host, and I have a child that needs me a lot with special needs, and I'm running a pregnancy center. Is it simple? No. But some of the things that are worth the most in life take some struggle.
Yeah, and know that you can probably, especially like your kid is a daughter, so like you're empowering women by doing that when she gets older.
So well, she will have seen me engage the world and get involved.
And that inspires people.
Right. Well, let her know that, I can do this too. And my mother did too. My mother went and got her college degree in between me and my brother, my little brother. And the news cameras were there because it took her 30 years. No, not 30 years constantly. She stopped. She was single. She went to school at night. She worked full time. And her mother was an immigrant from Ireland and was a maid, so she had a lot of money. But my mother, she paid her way through college at Hofstra University on Long Island, and then stopped for a few, maybe 15, 20 years, and started again working for Hofstra, so she got free tuition. So yeah, it was the same college, and she got a bachelor's degree, and the news cameras were there because they're so proud of her, and we were so proud of her. So again, she was a good example of a woman who didn't let babies get in her way. She worked around. And now it's even easier, because that was in the 80s. Now we have online university. Even Harvard is online. Did you know that? Neither Harvard online. So outside of a few days, if you're in certain fields, you need to do like a student teacher or a nurse clinical. But a lot of your coursework can be done online and can be done at your convenience in the middle of the night. You see those ads on TV where these people are working with a baby in the next
my mom's going for her degree, and she's still homeschooling a kid, and she does a lot of stuff, but she has the time to take a course online.
Multitasking, many things, and I love studying because it keeps your mind going and it challenges you. And someday I may do a master's at the seminary. It's got a great compliment. I'm interested in bioethics, so I would be interested in doing that. So anyway, yes, it empowers. Abortion does not empower women because it tells them, without us, you can't do this. And, you young ladies who have never been taught that, that you need abortion, that you need a man, that you need, a man in a relationship. I mean, like some young women, unfortunately, they're very insecure and they believe without a boyfriend, they're nobody. Right? And I tell you, these are two beautiful young women, okay? They can have boyfriends anytime they want it, but maybe they put it off. I don't know what your opinion is on that. Maybe they said for later, but they don't believe that they need a man at the moment. Yeah, they're too busy. You're too busy living. Yeah. And you have plenty of friends, right? Yeah. Are you two in the passion play?
Yeah, we are in the passion play.
There's plenty of young men in that. Right? Yeah. If they need men in the passion play, they do all the dirty work, right? The women are the good guys in the passion play.
Yeah, that's so you know. Actually, I'm the devil. So.
Oh, okay, well. All right, okay, I'll have to see that. Yeah. But anyway, there's plenty of healthy social environments for young women without getting tied down with a jealous, needy boyfriend who's texting them 50,000 times
I know. I have so many friends at high school where it's not like they come to you and they're like, oh, I'm not thinking about a guy, but you can see right through that. You're just like, because you feel like my friends always be like, oh, I want a boyfriend. I'm like, you can be doing so much with your life. kicks, you're going to look back in high school and you're going to be like, why did I spend my time doing so many more things? Right now, the passion play, I'm like busy every night, but it's like, it's so nice for me. And I'm like, I could never have time. I always like to say, passion play keeps me out of trouble.
Whenever I'm doing with the parish, I'm like, I have the best parish community ever because there's just so much to do.
We all travel outside our normal parishes for St. Mary's, the Immaculate Conception. It's a very special pastor, Father Joseph Tito, who really emphasizes holiness and humility. And it's helped us all grow so much. And it's a beautiful community around that with young people that have a youth group and that are seeking great holiness. And Father always leads us down the March for Life.
Yeah.
They always take the buses down. So what was your first March for Life like?
Well, mine was actually when I was really little. I can't remember my exact age, but I was with my parents and then my sister and I'm pretty sure my brother and my other sister, so I was a lot of family. Don't really remember that too much, but I know the one that we went to together, our first one together, which was
2019. This
March for Life. This one, I think it was 2018.
Okay. So the weather wasn't that bad. I was there. I remember.
It was really nice, and it's so nice to go because you see like all these people that are always going to be willing to help you, like people you've never met before, and it's like everyone's just so open, so happy, and you like look. Usually like the next day is the Women's March.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of stories from the Women's March.
They don't look happy, do they?
No, they don't.
They're miserable and angry. In fact, they want to be nasty, right? I'm a nasty woman.
We were with a group of people, and we're like, every time we like pass like a police officer, we always say, "Hey, good morning." Like everybody's so cheerful. They just want to have peace. They just want peace.
Right.
And
I'm sure they're very bored on the March for Life. There's no scuffles.
There's no crime.
There's no crime. Practically no littering. We try and keep our litter picked up too, whereas the Women's March left a terrible lot of litter around. Because we have respect for other people and for law, and we respect their dignity as children of God. And people who have a clean conscience, like you said, just came from confession, they have that lightness of soul, and they believe in heaven, and they look forward to heaven, and they want to bring heaven on earth. That's what Jesus called us to do. And there's such peace with that. And the other women, and the other march, they may think they're helping women. That's why they've taken all the trouble to go down there. But their idea of helping women, like the women inside the abortion clinic, is all messed up, right? And by being angry and bitter and destructive, they are actually against helping women.
I've seen some things from the Women's March, and they're just shouting things like, "My body, my joy." Well, a lot of them just shout, "45 has got to go," or "Donald, hey, hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has got to go." Right. To me, it seems like it's just anti-Trump and not like we're just...
Because Trump has proved to be the most pro-life president in history, and I didn't want to vote for him because he didn't have a pro-life track record. And he wasn't the greatest husband in the world. He's had 3 wives. So I'm like, oh, he's a playboy. I would have loved Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a wonderful gentleman, and he's a very Christian man. However, it seems that Trump has come along on abortion, and he just voted to make sure that Planned Parenthood International does not get any United States funds. We were funding abortions overseas, and we were coercing, under the Obama and Clinton administration, coercing Catholic countries like the Philippines. You want our aid, you're going to have abortion. Latin American countries, African countries, Muslim countries, countries that don't believe in abortion wanted our aid, were desperate for our aid, and we were saying, well, you got to have abortion or we don't. I remember an African doctor saying, we have the latest abortion equipment, but we don't have mosquito nets for malaria or medicine for malaria. Children are dying. But we don't want abortion. We don't want birth control. We just want to save the babies from malaria. And it's as simple as a mosquito net and some, quinine that they take. They don't have it because the big shots, like Warren Buffett, they give the money, they give birth control and Planned Parenthood, and they give birth control, and they give abortion equipment, abortion pills. They don't give the people what they truly need because they don't want too many poor people around. Too many poor people is what Margaret Sanger meant when she started giving out birth control in New York City, in the poorest neighborhoods of Lower Manhattan in New York City. In 1914, she started the Birth Control League. And it was among the poor immigrants, my ancestors, Italian, Irish, Polish immigrants, mostly Catholic, she was trying to convince them. Her parents are Irish immigrants as well. And they had a lot of kids, and the mother died young, and she always blamed having children on that. And I'm sure there was a number of things, and poor medical care and poverty was a big cause of it. So, but she targeted minorities because she felt, as a eugenicist, that some people are better than others. And the white Northern Europeans, of which I have only one ancestor, but I'm sure Irish wasn't included in that. She meant more like English and Swedish, were worthy of having kids, and Asians and blacks and Southern Europeans and Africans were not. So she targeted, and they still target. Planned Parenthood, 85% of them are minority communities, where poor people will go and have their children aborted. And instead, we offer them here a block and a half from Planned Parenthood all the help they need to have their baby. Yeah. We offer them links to community resources, clothing, diapers, support. And when we have enough money, we'll offer them financial help if they can't pay the rent or whatever.
Or help them look for a job.
Help them look for a job. Help them get their GED. Help them get into an alcohol rehab. We've done all that.
Yeah.
Help them get connected to their church. Help them reconcile with their family. A lot of young women are scared to tell their parents they're pregnant. We'll tell them. We'll be with them. They're not going to hit you with us sitting there. Yeah. They'll yell and scream a little less with us there, and they won't freak out as much. And we'll take all the heat. We don't mind, and we'll do whatever it takes to help that woman to have her baby. And if she wants to give the baby up, we'll find an adoption agency. I can't tell you, the minute they heard I was opening a pregnancy center, all these adoption agencies sent me their literature.
Oh, really?
They're desperate for young babies. Yeah, a lot of parents want to adopt a young baby.
Yeah.
It's simpler, right? The baby doesn't have a history of abuse, let's say.
Yeah.
And yes, to find a young baby in this country is very difficult.
Yeah, and I know that America isn't like making enough babies. That's right. Yeah, we're not making enough babies.
We're not replacing ourselves.
We're not
if it weren't
replacing.
for immigration, our population would have gone down really a
Yeah.
lot.
And there's only like 2 states who are kind of keeping it up, but
it's important to have at least 2.1 or 3 babies because not everybody has babies, so you have to have more than average. And who's going to pay your Social Security when you're retired? The money people paying the Social Security now is being spent now. So when you want it, it's not going to be there. The Social Security money, and not just that, but people need to be working. You can't have a whole society of retired people. Like we have a nursing home behind us. Who's working there? Young people.
yeah.
Who's paying the money to pay into the Medicaid that's paying for them? Medicare is paying for the young people. The doctors, the nurses, the secretaries, all the bus drivers, all these people are necessary to keep society running. All people are valuable in the wisdom they give to us, and they can be great blessings to their families, but they're not actively engaged in the workforce.
Yeah.
And they're not having more babies, too.
Yeah.
So, the Japanese society is getting very, very old right now. And they have something called lonelies, where people die, and because all their checks are automatic and their bills are automatic, no one notices because they don't have any family. So they're dead, and nobody knows. They're in a box somewhere, and they call them the lonelies, and they have to go find them. Because once the bills are paid, no one's looking for you. And that's so sad that that's their only connection to the world was paying the bills. And their next door neighbor doesn't know them, and their families are gone. I mean, everybody had a family sometime, right? That's a very sad state. And we might have that in some circumstances here in the United States. And Mother Teresa said that this was one of the poorest countries in the world because we don't love each other.
Yeah.
And we could afford these babies. We're the richest country in the world. Why can't we afford to take care of these children and to find them homes? Because people just don't want to. They feel that adoption is too much of a burden. And I say to the young women, when you're pregnant, in a crisis situation, everything's difficult. Abortion's difficult, adoption's difficult, giving birth and raising a child's difficult, but that doesn't make it wrong. Sometimes things that are right are really hard, like training for an athletic event. It's not easy. Learning how to bake, it's not easy. Make a lot of mistakes, right? I can attest to that. Made a mistake the other night. There's a lot of different things that are worth doing in life that cost you something and sacrifice. And that doesn't mean they're not worth doing. And giving birth to a child, whether or not you tend to raise that child, and either giving that child up or having that child as yours is definitely worth doing. So overall, unplanned, we're almost out of time. Who would you recommend see unplanned?
I think teenagers.
Yeah. I think
How come?
It's like the younger you are, I think it'll really help the minds. But I think you get maybe less I mean, well, you get more exposed when you're older to kind of probably people telling you that abortion is right. So if you already have a voice when you're younger, it'll be a lot easier when you're older.
Okay. And how does this movie give you a voice?
Well, I think it gives you a voice because it gives you something to talk about. Kind of, you have your reasons now. You have a lot more reasons.
You have the truth.
Yeah.
How many people know what's really going on behind the doors of Planned Parenthood? This is a very unique opportunity to know what is going on.
You can see Abby Johnson actually worked there, so she actually knew what was going on. She was
not a made-up story.
What were some of the made-up stories that you know are not true now because of this movie? I know Abby Johnson's wearing scrubs. Did she have a medical background? Nothing. Zero, zilch. Right? She wore scrubs. Why did she wear scrubs to work? So it looks like a medical clinic. All the girls that carry the folders back and forth and never had anything to do with medical, they wore scrubs too. Everybody did, as though they were medical.
Yeah.
There might be one or two medical people, right? You have a nurse and a doctor, but everybody else wore scrubs. So that right there is kind of giving the impression they're more qualified than they are. Number two, Abby was told when she took the abortion pill. What was she told? No big deal.
Yeah,
no big deal.
It was awful for her.
Like,
she had
blood clot. A lot of blood.
Yeah,
when she called back to the abortion clinic, she was asking for help, and the person on the line was just like, "Sorry, there's another person on the line.
They blew her off.
I gotta go."
They blew her off. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't offer any advice except take Advil, and you're going to have bad cramps. Well, you know, I've had miscarriages. They can be pretty severe, but like I said, this is worse because your body was perfectly healthy. Miscarriage, the baby has died, and slowly your hormones go down. Slowly your body gets rid of the baby, the dead baby. But in this, the baby was perfectly viable and perfectly healthy. So it's a fight. All babies fight, even though they don't know what they're so young. They don't know what they're doing yet. They fight to live, and your body is in the middle of it. So that poor woman was like, a lot of young women have taken the abortion pill, figure it's going to be the easy way out, and they go home and they're all by themselves. And it's almost better to be in the clinic, but then again, how do they treat them after the abortion in the clinic? They were sitting on these plastic, junky-looking chairs, passing out.
And they were crying.
Was anybody there to console them? What did they do for them?
They were just sitting there.
They gave them a pill. And
they were like crackers.
And a cracker. Yeah, whole team. Whoopsie-doo.
Yeah. There's someone there telling them it's going to be all right.
Well, technically it's not going to be all right.
When did the counseling happen?
Before the abortion.
So was it really counseling? I mean,
I was just convincing.
It's selfish. You know,
Yeah.
and she was talking to them about the price of the abortion is going to go up if you wait. Push, push, push. You know, I'll give you a great deal. It's going to be nothing. Da, da, da. And you can't do this. You need this, right? We talked about that. Well, you need this. And if the girl was on the fence, she just saw an opportunity to drive right through. You know, I was a very good shoe salesman back in the day when I worked in London, and I sold shoes. And I know what it is to find someone on the fence and to convince them. But that's shoes. She was convincing them for a life-altering operation that they would regret for the rest of their lives. And she convinced 22,000 young women to abort in one way or another. And
that's just that abortion clinic.
That's just that.
You're not counting the hundreds of other ones.
And every single Planned Parenthood does the abortion pill. So even if they're not doing surgical abortion like the one around the corner from here, they're handing out those pills. And 40% of women in Connecticut abort by the pill. So it's huge. And we will probably never know all the different places. It could happen in a doctor's office. It could happen in the hospital, clinic, or whatever. So these women are being convinced. But what we stand for is you have a choice. You want to change your mind. We'll let you see your baby. And we'll talk to you, and we'll tell you the truth, and we'll tell you the good and bad of everything. You know, having babies is not easy, but abortion, telling the women that it's easy is the biggest lie in the world. So teenagers should see this so they know the truth. So before they get convinced on the other side, who's going to convince them that abortion's okay? You're in public school. Do they talk about it at school?
It's come up. The history project. Well, it has come up like between me and my friends, because like if they like ask what I'm doing this weekend, I said like I'm going to the March for Life. Surprisingly, a good amount of my friends are actually pro-life.
Really?
That sounds very shocking. But
Wow.
I don't think they actually know.
That's
They
true.
don't actually know.
I think people like to say it because it sounds nice.
It's going to be pro something, right?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
honestly, it does sound nice to say I'm pro-choice too, because you're like,
You're
oh,
pro-
give your
right.
choice.
You're staying out of the person's way. You're letting them
Yeah.
make the decision.
But yeah, so yeah.
That's very interesting
Yeah.
that they're not negative. I've heard that the generation coming up is more pro-life than my generation, because my generation, in our defense, we didn't have sonograms growing up. We didn't know what the baby looked like. They came out in the late 70s. So when abortion was approved, the Supreme Court even said if we find out that the baby can live outside the womb younger, then we might have to revisit this.
Mm-hmm.
So even Supreme Court Justice Blackmun, who wrote the majority opinion in favor of Roe versus Wade, is saying there may be things which come down the road which prove this to be a bad decision, and it's time to overturn it. And that's what we say at March for Life. Hey, Roe v. Wade, that's down. So we have our own little chance, but it's more joyful.
Yeah.
There's balloons, there's babies, there's flowers.
Yeah,
there's
they have
hymns,
amazing
there's prayers.
bands. They have amazing
Yeah.
Yeah, they have great music. It's a party in favor of life, and hope that we're going to overturn it. And let me tell you, there was a person from NARAL who showed up a couple of years ago for March for Life. They stood in Capitol Hill. They worked in Washington all the years, but they never bothered to come across town. A lot of people don't like to look. You see up in the office buildings, nobody's looking out the window. When there's a normal parade, people are packed at the windows, right?
Yeah.
She had no idea. She had been told that the March for Life was a bunch of old people who could barely make it up the hill.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, so she said, there's so many people and they're so young. And she was like totally blown away by that. And so
Yeah.
you guys are proof of the fact that the March for Life is, and the pro-life movement is young and it's not going anywhere. And it's growing. So thank you, Katie and Lili, for coming today, for sharing your opinions. Welcome back anytime on Living the Gospel of Life. And you've heard it, young ladies in high school that are leading, future leaders or current leaders in the pro-life movement, because they love the truth and they love our Lord. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us in today's show of Living the Gospel of Life.
We hope you enjoyed the program and will join us back for another show on WCAT Radio. This is Sebastian Mahfood. Good day.